Hey guys and girls, my name's Phil, and you're on the Right On Fishing channel, which is my channel, just to bring some commercial fishing info into the YouTube community. You might see my other video. I had a little talk about my guy cotton boots, which I was very, I wasn't impressed with. But the upshot is, it's now the 2021 end of the fishing season. I'll be fishing down in Cornwall. We've been fishing throughout the pandemic and this virus crisis through 2020. In fact, we've landed more fish than we did other years. So just going to the boat, start off the boat now, and I think it might be interesting just to go through the kit before I sort of stow it all the way till next season and buy some new kit. I'll go through it in more detail to give some idea of the pros and cons and what I found. But just to give you an overview of what kit I normally have on take with me, and also keep on the boat. So you might see my other video of the guy cotton boots, which I wasn't very impressed with. So obviously I got my new pair of boots, which I actually imported from the States. I'll do a little separate detailed video on these. These are the Xtratuf Legacy 2 Series 2s, 15-inch steel toe caps. So obviously I have to have steel toe caps because I'm a commercial fisherman and working on a company boat. So those I'll talk about another time. Let's go through. This is my day bag, which I'll take to the boat. Nice little, what's it, Aldi shopping bag. No, I'm not recommending that. But anyway, this and here I've got the really useful bag. Now this is this keeps some nicks and knacks in. Sandwich box, very essential. The reason I go a sandwich box, we are a day fishing boat. Some of the lads, I work with two other younger lads. They seem to live on Haribos, Chineses and stuff. So I have sandwiches. They also don't drink tea either, or coffee. So we don't have tea making facilities on the boat. They sort of drink like caffeine drinks and stuff. Anyway, so I have a flask. I work long days sometimes, catching and landing fish. So they're two: sandwich box, flask, probably the most two essential items. This one we'll talk about. So the Thermos Work Flask. Work class. In here I have a woolly hat. Obviously that's a Musto woolly hat. I have some other bits and pieces. I have a snooze, which is for the neck. I have some wrist guards, just when we land a lot of fish. I mean, we're landing 10 or 20 tons of sardines and pilchards. So I use wrist guards. I use some inner gloves, either like these type of gloves or these type of gloves, latex. They go inside my shower gloves, which I'll show you in a minute. There is a reason for that. The shower gloves get very wet and I try and prolong the life of them, which I'll have a look in a minute. These are the shower gloves. I normally keep 4 or 5 pairs on the boat. They do get wet. These are the shower, I think, the chemical gloves that most fishermen use. In fact, there's fish scales coming off those. I'll talk about those another time. They're still wet actually. Other things I'll keep in this bag. I use a baseball cap, but this is actually seal Skinz. This is actually a waterproof baseball hat. I do like waterproof baseball hats because when you've got your oilskin coat on, it does have a lip and it can shed off the rain off your face, as well as helping with the sun and glare. So I have one normal baseball cap, which is waterproof, and I have my winter hat. This is a Musto hat. This is waterproof. It's also got drop down ear flaps on it, and it's thermal. That is indispensable in the winter, I'll tell you. When you've got howling wind in the face, yeah, brilliant. And also when you're hauling nets, you're under the net, seawater's dripping on your head, great bit of kit. Can't recommend that enough. I have a couple of normal pairs of gloves. These are from Toolstation, but I have like in Screwfix, I have like a normal pair of sort of waterproof gloves. These are work gloves, and a thermal gloves. These aren't really necessarily for hauling nets or landing fish, but to keep your hands warm. And then, there's a couple of spare t-shirts in there if you get wet. What do we got in here? These I normally keep on the boat. Okay, there's a pair of covered in scales Xtratuf guide cottons. And they're my old pair of oilers, sort of pre-season really, These are sort of 2019, but I'd still use them. We're not as hard wearing as the crabbers or the nose, but I use them. God, a bit smelly. I do wash them as well. I do run them through the washing machine. These I use for landing fish. I don't necessarily use them for fishing. I do find them a bit heavy for actual active. Depends what type of fishing you're doing. What of active fish. Because fish scales everywhere. Oh my days. Anyway, there's the sardines fish scales. Cornish sardine. Look, these fish scales, obviously, when they're wet, they stick to you. When they're dry, they're like confetti. Anyway, other things I use for landing, I use some cornets I put on my arms. They got old guy cotton ones. You can still buy these type. I'm not sure I necessarily recommend these type, but I'll explain sometime why I use those. These are more shower gloves. I normally keep sort of 4 or 5 pairs, like I say. I rotate. You know, for catching fish, I'll have 1 pair for catching fish, 1 pair for landing fish, and then let them dry out, and then have some more. We turn them inside out to let them dry out on the boats. But you know, you can buy shower gloves from Chandlery's. Also Screwfix. They are chemical gloves, not like fishing gloves, although the fishing industry seems to have adopted them as their standard glove. Here is my all-ear jacket, covered in scales. This is a Stormline. I went for Stormline. God, I went for Stormline gear this year rather than Guy Cotton. Guy Cotton I was finding a bit heavy. This is a lightweight Stormline jacket. It's a Captains range. So this is a 200 with the neoprene cuffs. You can see that. I'll go through that another video because it's pros and cons to. I found all this stuff. I haven't found the perfect oilers yet, so there's a highlight. That's a tip to it. These are Stormline lightweight pants range. These are the Captains range again. So these are 600s. I keep them inside out for drying. But you see they still get this condensation thing going on, and loads of scales. Hundreds and hundreds of scales. Sardine scales. But anyway, they are Captains Stormline obviously from New Zealand. I actually bought these from the factory in New Zealand, got them shipped over. It's actually, believe it or not, cheaper. Like I say, I've got my Stormlines, which is New Zealand, which is my top and bottom. Got my Guy Cotton, which is obviously French, which is my landing bottoms. I've got my boots, or wellies, whatever you call them, steel toe caps, which are Xtratuf, which is you see them on Alaska programs, the USA, which I actually bought from the USA and got them sent over. That's basically it. Obviously I've got a life jacket, which is obviously sea fish approved, which I won't go into. I'll go into that in another video. Yeah, I'll do life jackets and do a separate video. Just so you can see there's a life jacket in there as well. Right, so like I say, I'll go through all those in more detail, and hopefully it'll be of interest to some people, the pros and cons of what I'm using. I am going to change my kit next season probably. Well, I am going to change my oilers definitely. I'll give some other oilers a go, and we'll go from there and see if it's useful. Anyway, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, blah blah blah, all the YouTube stuff. Anyway, hope it's all good out wherever you are. Hope you're getting through the pandemic. Anyway, right on.